Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Hyams here with his favorite co-host, Bob Stewart, over there. Bob, how are you today?
I need like banners and streamers
and confetti.
Poppers, confetti, all the stuff, Chad.
Yes, we need Dick Clark.
Dick Clark. Is he still? I think he's dead. Is he still?
No, he's not still alive, Bob. And thankfully, we can say he's here as a guest because no one would know. I age the way Dick Clark aged, right? I think he made it until like 5 years before he passed away that he still looked like he was in his 30s. And then all of a sudden he got old, like overnight, and died. Dick Clark, while you are not with us, you were my New Year's buddy for years. Bob Stewart, I did not get to enjoy New Year's Eve for most of my life because of a divorce of my parents. I was with my father, so I wasn't with friends and things like that, always over the holiday. Sometimes we spent it with family with him, and I had a cousin or two to have some fun with. But otherwise, usually I sat home and I watched Dick Clark on a big giant screen. And that was my New Year's Eve.
Guess you guys were rich. You had big screen. Like I think like me
my father had a big screen, like a 6-foot projector screen back in the day. Yeah, he had that big projector screen. And I would watch Dick Clark, and that was New Year's for me. And when I got older, I never had a problem working on a shift, in a restaurant or anything like that, because New Year's was never that special to me because of my growing up. And Bob, maybe I'm a little cynical. Maybe I'm the Grinch of New Year's. I believe this is one of the dumbest holidays we have on the calendar. What's your take on New Year's Eve, Bob Stewart?
Oh, I don't know. I think that we don't need a date on the calendar to reflect, but sometimes when we're not consistently doing those things, putting a temporal landmark on the calendar can shake us into that. I tend to agree with you. You don't need that to change your behaviors and show up as a different version of yourself. But if you're not somebody that's trying to constantly like think about that, then hey, let's put something on the calendar that does maybe force us to do that.
So why do you think we did it on December 31st to January 1st? Why didn't we do it like July 31st to August 1st in the summer? Weather's nicer. The sun's out later. I don't know, all that stuff. Who decided to take Christmas, Hanukkah, and then shove another holiday in there at that same time? You're going to Google it to find out. I think it's just a marketing ploy to sell calendars. That was just it to me. They just wanted to start calendars in January and said, great, we'll sell new calendars. We'll put a holiday there. Folks, look, you can blame
Pope Gregory the 13th.
Well, of course,
we work off of the Gregorian calendar that has been in effect since 1582, and it was instituted by our friend Pope Gregory the 13th, apparently, according to the AI results on Google.
All right, so folks, there we go. Bob coming in with the facts and bringing us some value and some information. Look, let's talk New Year's, Bob, because we're dropping this episode right in time for New Year's Eve because we know what's coming. And we want everyone to have the best possible 2025. I know Dave hates when we get specific because he likes these things to be evergreen. But folks, we'll do another one come the end of 2025. We want this year to be even better than your 2024 was. And Bob, the biggest mistake most people make with New Year's is what?
They fail their resolutions? I don't know.
Boom, right?
I get it. I got the answer.
Resolution. Right? They just make resolutions. The stats are in, folks, right? 91% of people do not achieve their resolutions. 91.
I'm going to guess that the other 9% that do made like a resolution that could be achieved in a one-time event.
Yeah, that's probably
their resolution was like, I'm going to show up at church on that first Sunday, or their resolution, it was something that was like very limited in the scope of right?
Yeah, it wasn't that difficult, right? So 91% of people don't achieve it. 43% of people actually expect to fail before January ends. I mean, they expect to fail. That's just ridiculous, right? And only 9% feel they're successful if they made it, obviously, through the year. And this is research that was taken from Universal Studies and things like that. Bob, resolutions are a mistake. Why?
I mean, look, if I had to, my guess would be that they are, I mean, they're not documented. They're not, I don't have any actual like habits or behavior change to, I just state it and I put it out there and maybe I tell a couple friends or I put it on the socials, but I don't do anything about it. Like that would be the number one thing. I would think there's no action behind this, the stated goal.
All right. So there's Bob's answer. Now I'm going to give you what the psychologists and the research shows us the reasons resolutions fail. Number one, Bob, they're vague and usually overly ambitious.
Okay.
Like, I'll lose weight. Okay, great. So you lose half a pound and you consider you made your resolution happen, right?
I want to eat better. I want to, yeah.
What does that mean?
Exercise.
I'm going to get rich this year. I'm going to, right? I mean, that's vague and overly ambitious as to what it usually means. Another reason, Bob, they lack a clear plan or system to help them make that success happen. Like you said, right? They're just saying things. They don't have the plan in place. And it's usually they're just relying on willpower to make the resolution come true. I have stated this and therefore it will. And what they don't realize is that willpower will fail. Right? Bob, I'm a healthy guy, right? I'm health focused. That's important to me. I still grab the cookie, right? I still made peanut butter cookies earlier today for a holiday party that I'm going to. You can be sure I'm going to eat some of them, right? Willpower is not going to always be there. And every time I walk by those cookies, one of those times my willpower is going to say, I'll just have the damn thing, right? And we rely on that to attempt to make our resolutions work. So folks, you need accountability and tracking. You need to have realistic goals, and you need to understand the habits that you're going to need to create if you even think a resolution is going to happen, which is why, Bob, don't even bother making a resolution. Just commit to a new habit in your life.
Yeah. I mean, like let's break one of these down. Let's just say that my resolution is to lose weight, Chad.
Okay.
So instead of I want to lose weight, like frame that for me in a way that makes it doesn't have to be but like frame it in a way that I can walk out or walk into 2025, more likely to do what I want to do there.
Okay. So Bob, people have heard the acronym SMART, and I think they don't understand what SMART usually stands for. So I've created an acronym called TIME. Okay. People will remember it. When you want to set a goal, which is truly what a resolution is, it's a goal. Use the TIME acronym. The T stands for there needs to be a timeline. So Bob, you said you want to lose weight. Let me ask you a question. By when? Is it by the end of the year? Do you want it by a birthday that's coming? Do you want it before swimsuit season? When do you want to have lost this weight by?
Yeah. Okay, by July 1st, the swimsuit season.
Perfect. By July 1st. The I stands for it must be important to you. So now I'm going to ask the deeper question. Bob, what is it about losing weight that really matters to you?
I want to have more energy with my kids.
Okay, right. Now I understand how I can push at you. I can poke at you. You understand the motivation behind it so that next time that you, when you're catching your breath with your kid, you're going to be like, all right, that's the losing weight. I want to drop these pounds that are hanging on me or whatever it is. The M in time stands for it's measurable. Okay, Bob? It's got to be measurable. How many?
I want to drop 10 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds.
Okay, now we know I want to lose 10 pounds by July 1st so I have more energy to keep up and play with my kids. The E of time, Bob, stands for effort, which means there must be activity you're going to do. Bob, what activity will you take on to aid in this weight loss?
I mean, so now instead of I want to lose weight, my New Year's resolution might sound something like I want to lose 10 pounds by July 1st so I have more energy to spend with my kids. And I'm going to do it by committing to an hour of exercise 3 times a week.
Boom. There you go, right? I'm going to commit to running this. I'm going to commit to weightlifting that. And folks, by the way, the older you get, the more important weightlifting is. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to be weightlifting, but the weights are so important. And too many of us rely on just the cardio. complete sidestep. But now, Bob, what you've done is you've taken a resolution, which was not going to happen.
A hope or a dream. It was like a dream. Like, I have
There
a
you
dream.
go.
I want to lose some weight.
And now you've turned it into a true goal that we can work towards, develop the habits for, have the accountability towards, understand the motivation behind. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Like you said, we don't have to wait till January 1st even to do it. You can wake up on February 12th and say, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm take yourself through that exact same exercise. Now you're in a position where don't make resolutions, folks. Instead, make goals, set plans.
Chad, give me time really quick again. Timeline. What was the I?
I is important to you.
Important.
Timeline,
Okay.
important to you, measurable, and effort that you'll put into it.
Effort. Got it.
Right? Nice, easy acronym that everybody should be starting to use every time you do your goals. The reason I've switched from using SMART so many years ago, and I put this one when I wrote the book and came up, because they'll argue what the A and R stand for. I'm not going to get into it right now. People will argue about
this
what
one's
they are.
20% more efficient. 4
There
letters versus.
I caught out a whole letter for you, folks, so you don't have to worry about it. All right. So, Bob, let's get into the new year. Let's help make 2025 the best year our audience is going to have. What's the first thing? Forget resolutions right now. What's the first thing they need to do to make sure 2025 is going to be the best year ever?
I'm going to look back on 2024, Chad.
Boom. Yeah.
I want to know what went well.
Yep.
What was really hard, but what was something I learned out of that? Where do I need to focus more attention this coming year? Where did I maybe not, I wasn't able to show up in the way that I wanted to in 2024. On the good side, and what are those things that when I was doing them, I had a lot of energy and I felt amazing. And how do I get more of those types of opportunities in 2025? I don't know. To me, it would start with kind of a recap of where I've been so that I know where I want to go. And I've got some guidance on it.
Bob, that's brilliant, right? Look back, folks. What did you do well that you should be doing again? What did you do poorly that you either need to stop doing or fix? What did you not even attempt that maybe you should say, you know what? I saw a lot of people doing blank. Maybe I'll take that on. I saw a lot of people take on that marathon challenge. Maybe I'll run a marathon, right? Or I saw a lot of people do this in my business. Maybe I should attempt that in my business. By the way, Bob, if somebody wants to run a marathon, that's a Win, Make, Give listener. If they text the word run a marathon, one word, run a marathon to 59559, I will build them a customized marathon training plan for them to help them get from wherever they are to today across that finish line for easy training to do it. So all they got to do is text run a marathon 59559 if that's a goal for you in 2025.
Love it. Let's go.
All right. So Bob said it great. First thing we do, folks, before 2025 even gets here, and this episode should be dropping a day before or so, look back, right? What went well in 2024? Okay, Bob, I've looked back. Now it's time to move forward. What's the next thing that I need to do? What's step 2 to make 2025 become the best year it's could possibly be for me?
Set a clear vision. Let's broadcast what we're going to do this year and really have some clarity in it.
I think that's a great point, Bob, right? We looked back. Now let's look forward, right? This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Bob, creating a vision is a challenge for some people. Help our audience, right? How do I create a vision? What does that look like? What do I do?
Well, okay, so look, I don't know if I have the right answer here, but the way I tend to think about this, Chad, is I'll break it up into a couple of buckets, right? So I've got like a career bucket, got a finance bucket, I've got a family and friends bucket, and then I've got a health bucket. And like those are the 4 where I'm thinking, okay, like what is my real objective for the year? So I'll give you an example. In our finance bucket, our objective this year is to buy the second Airbnb. Like that is what we're driving towards. And so we have some real crystal clarity on that, right? Listen, Chad, it might not happen this year, but we're gonna line everything up, right? we're going to line everything up to make sure that if that right property comes, that opportunity presents itself, that we can take advantage of it. So we're going to make sure we've got the down payment in place. We're going to make sure that the loan is ready. Like, we are literally lining our ducks up to make sure that like that thing will happen. We know, each month, what do we want to save to get us to that, and every month allows us to have a little bit more flexibility in the price of the, so we've just really very clear. And one of the things that I would say here, I've done this before, especially in the career side of things, is like, I'm going to do this and 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 this. And I've really over the years tried to, and I'm not always awesome at it, but tried to kind of pare it down to one or two things that I think, man, if we do this year, like, I'll look back at the end and be like, that was good, right? We got the Airbnb that we were after.
Okay. So folks, Bob's giving you a great example, right? Take what we stand at: health, wealth, leadership, legacy, right? Bob's got health. He's got finance. That's what he called it in his bucket, right? He's got his family, and then he's got his business, and you can call one of them leadership, one of them legacy. And he's built a vision in each one that says, what does my family look like and family and friends life look like at the end of the year? What does my finance look like at the end of the year? What does my business look like at the end of the year? What does my health look like at the end of the year? And then, Bob, you've said this so many times, right? Don't just shove it in a drawer. Write it out and put those Post-its up. We just talked about it. Ben keeps his goals right there on the home screen of his phone. Every time he opens his phone to do anything, his goals are flashing in front of his face. Think about how you make that happen for you, audience. Okay, so Bob, I reflected. Now I've cast the vision for where I'm going. What's step 3 to make 2025 awesome?
Well, I think you mentioned this when we were talking at the beginning here about, like, how do you, not just throw this resolution out there that's totally, it's now I have to understand, I've got this vision. Now I have to understand, like, what are the habits that get me to that vision, Chad?
Yes.
Because I've set out, like, I'll just keep going on my example of buying the Airbnb, because I'm going to keep talking about it until we have the second one. Then I'll start talking about the third one. But the goal is get the Airbnb, right? Like, so what are the habits then that get us there? Well, saving, right? Like, my wife and I and we've been doing this for a while. Like, if I decided today I wanted to buy one, Chad, and I probably would have needed to do different habits, but we've been doing this for a while, right? So it's all right, continue to save, right? It's continue to look, right? Like, we're actively searching and seeking. And one of the, it's hard to call this a habit, but I start to think about, like, inside of a given habit, even how can I adjust that? For example, like, we used to save 5% of everything, like in the door, right? Before we spend any dollars, those 5%. Now we can do a little bit more. And so now it's 8. And so I'm constantly even looking inside of my habits to see, like, how can I refine those?
That's great.
Used to look in the state of be in Western Washington, and now we've extended into Eastern Washington and Idaho and Oregon. And so I'm looking inside of my habits and saying, like, can I even get, more focused in there, do a little bit more in there? If I didn't have habits in the beginning on this journey, I'd have to go and establish those.
Yeah, let me give everybody some tips about habit creation. 1, yes, the bigger the habit, the bigger the result. Yet the bigger the habit, the harder the habit is to build. So start small, right? Start small building these habits. 2, you can only build one habit at a time, right? You can't sit there and say, okay, my habit is going to be to now do this, and a habit to do this, and a habit to do this. One habit. I had someone just the other day, Bob. Miracle Morning is a book that gets mentioned to me many times, right? And thank you, Hal, for writing it, okay? Yet the problem is, people say to me, oh, the habit I'm going to create is SAVERS, right? That's the acronym that's in the book for the different things he recommends that you do in his life. Okay, but here's the thing. It's actually 6 different things. And if you attempt to do all 6 of them at the same time, you'll look up later and you'll be doing none of them. Pick one, build that habit. Once it's a habit, add the next, add the next. It's going to take time. Habits don't get created overnight. You can't create more than one habit at a time.
And so you have a pretty good, like, kind of approach here, which is I don't necessarily want to look at this for the whole year. Like, if I'm really trying to, let's go back to my example of, like, I'm
losing weight and you got buying an Airbnb.
Yeah, and we could even play with this, right? So you were saying like break your that habit building into a series of like 90-day plans.
Yes.
Right. But if we were going to use my example of, I want to lose 10 pounds by July 1st so I have more energy with my boys, and I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. Let's say I got 6 months. Well, let's break it down into some 45-day sprints then, Chad. And how am I going to sprint towards that? So it's in, the first 45 days, I'm going to commit to doing I'm going to do a walk every day or whatever it is. Right. And then it's like, okay, now that habit that's not going to be the only thing that gets me to the 10-pound loss and more energy. Right. Yeah. So now I'm like, all right, what can I stack on top of going on my daily walk? Right. Well, correct. I can stack on top a little bit of weightlifting. I can do it twice a week because I take the boys to basketball practice and I've got that hour at the YMCA anyway. Right. And so that next 45 days is going to be about making that a habit.
Sure.
And then I go say,
Bob, take that walk and just speed it up. Right? You can just adjust the same habit you've already created. You could create the habit of 3 days a week right now, which is what you had said. We can turn it to 5 days a week then once it's a 3-day-a-week habit, because it's easier to grow on it. Yet if you challenge yourself to all of a sudden go run 5 days a week, it's not going to happen, right? Unless that's the only habit truly you're building. But if you can build that base habit, then you can stack upon it and make those habits bigger and bigger and better. Okay.
Yeah, so the next thing I stack is diet or whatever it is, right? Like
it'll be easier when you're starting to feel healthier to say, you know what, I don't need that second cinnamon roll every day.
But if I was like, I'm gonna fix my diet, I'm gonna go on a run, I'm gonna do the weightlifting twice a week, like good luck.
It's
not right? I'm gonna wake up each morning and go, oh, that's a lot. I'll start tomorrow.
And you'll do it for willpower for a very short period of time. And then it'll collapse on you because someone's birthday will show up and you'll have the cake and then you'll just fall off the bandwagon, whatever that is. Okay. Reflect, set the vision ahead, focus on the habits, not just those goals that we're working on. And Bob, you just said the last one already in there. You worked it right in. Break that down into quarterly, preferably attacks. We've said this many times. We have no idea what the world's going to look like come this time next year. We have no idea what the world's going to look like come July 1st. We have a good general idea what the world will look like by March 31st, which is 90 days away. So you can make sense of understanding this is what the weather will probably be where I live between now and then. This is what business will probably look like. So now I can set those activities in 90-day plans.
Love it. Love it. I mean, look, Chad, here would be my hope for everybody here. Just pick one thing, one habit, like one thing you'd want to change, right? And then identify one habit that can lead you towards that at the end of 2025, Chad. And it really is just, small, consistent steps that get us to. I think we all look and we go, oh my God, Ben Kinney, this guy's. He's amazing, right? He's done all these things. No, man, he's been taking just step after step every day for 20 years, right? And then we look back and we go, oh my God, look how far he's come. But it's because every day he wakes up and knows what that next step is going to be. He's got clarity, right? And I think we started this with, give yourself some clarity on what you want to do in 25.
Yeah. I don't know how big United States is, right, distance-wise from east to west coast. You and I live pretty far from each other, almost as far as you can in the continental United States, right? Here's the thing. Walking from me to you sounds ludicrous. But if I woke up tomorrow and took just one step, and then the next day took just one step closer to you, and took one step closer to you, I'd get to you. Before I knew it, all of a sudden I'd be like, holy crap, I just walked to Seattle. From
about 3,298 miles, by the way, from you to me.
There you go. I can't run that at once, but boy, if I just took those one steps, all of a sudden, people would look up and be like, look how far he's gone as he's done that journey. Folks, Bob gives you a great tip. One, just pick it. Start moving in the right direction. If we can help you, reach out to Bob and I. If you want to run the marathon, that's your thing this year, I already gave you. Go back. What did he say? How do I do that?
Run a marathon to 59559.
One word, run a marathon. No spaces in there, folks. I'll take care of helping you make that happen. We wish you the happiest, healthiest, most successful 2025 that's coming, and we
Did Dave
know
put in like the music here, and is there streamers?
Dave's
or-
not listening anymore.
okay.
You know that. Folks, we know you'll be with us. Bring somebody along for the Win, Make, Give journey of 2025. Until the new year, do good.